In Surah Al-Ma'idah, Allah lays down clear guidelines regarding food. The first major category of forbidden food is the flesh of dead animals. But there are more specific classifications that come into play. Let's break these down. 1. The strangled animal. This refers to an animal that has been suffocated, often by a rope around its neck. 2. The beaten animal. An animal that has been beaten to death, like with a club. 3. The fallen animal. This is an animal that dies after falling from a high place or into a ravine. 4. The gored animal. When an animal dies due to being gored by the horns of another. 5. The partially eaten animal. An animal that has been partially devoured by wild beasts before dying. Now you might wonder, what makes these animals prohibited? Well, there are multiple reasons. One key reason is to avoid cruelty to the animals. Imagine an animal being neglected or tortured by severe beating or being left to fight with another, often resulting in its death. Islam emphasizes kindness to animals. Also, when an animal has been gored, Islam discourages eating it, as it was left unattended and suffered unnecessary harm. The aim here is to penalize negligence and protect the dignity of these creatures. But there are exceptions. The sea animals, like fish and whales, are exempt from this rule. The Prophet, peace be upon him, himself allowed the consumption of dead sea creatures. As long as it's from the sea, it's halal, even if the animal is dead when it's found. The same rule applies to locusts. While typically dead animals are prohibited, locusts are an exception, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, himself allowed his companions to eat them during his expeditions. What about the skin, bones, or hair of a dead animal? These are not prohibited. In fact, the Prophet, peace be upon him, encouraged making use of these materials, as throwing them away would be wasteful. The process of tanning the skin of a dead animal makes it permissible to use, even if the animal was dead at the time. This is because tanning purifies the skin, allowing it to be repurposed. In cases of necessity, such as extreme hunger with no halal food available, Islam permits the consumption of otherwise prohibited items. This exception is allowed to save a life. However, the key is moderation. Only eat enough to alleviate hunger and avoid excess. So, while there are clear rules on what's permissible and what's not, these guidelines ensure the safety and dignity of both humans and animals. The wisdom behind these laws helps maintain balance in society and the natural world.